What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another day in the B is for Build shop. In today's episode, working on the Huracan. Should be a fun day today. We're gonna just take things nice and easy and have a lot of fun playing with my Lamborghini for the first time, but we'll see how my mood is once we inspect the damages. We're gonna check this thing out a little bit further, specifically around the rotating assembly of the driver's side front and rear wheel, because that's the big question mark space. We'll get the car up, get underneath it, and inspect the bottom side of it as well. After that, we're gonna work on those anti-rollover pop-up dealies. Beep. We need to get those removed so we can get them sent out to be repaired. Also, once we remove those, then we can see if the soft top works, because I know that's a sticking point with some Lamborghini builds. Roofs. So it's a big fingers crossed type of day. Let's get down to work. Stay tuned. I have to say stay tuned now. I've got locked into this stay tuned thing for years. Before we jump into the Huracan, I'm going to take a minute out for our sponsor. Today's episode is sponsored by World of Warships. World of Warships is a free-to-play game. They call it the thinking man's game because it's a perfect balance of action and strategy. And you can command a massive naval fleet featuring some of the world's most historic and iconic naval vessels. And as you play, you can unlock more warships to battle against the 30 million players playing this game. The gameplay is highly detailed. They have unique weather situations, so every battle is a little bit different. All the ships are based off of 3D scans of the ships in real life, so they're highly detailed. And there are over 200 different ships to play with across 11 different nations. And World of Warships is always bringing you something new. They're constantly updating the game to bring in new missions, new events, and different things to do. And when you use my exclusive code below, you're gonna get a free USS Langley aircraft carrier, which allows for a completely different form of fast-paced World of Warships gameplay. So click the link in the description below to play World of Warships, and using that link, you will receive an exclusive bonus starter pack. New players can register with the code PLAYLANGLEY2019, and you're going to receive 300 doubloons, 1 million credits, the USS Langley aircraft carrier, and 3 days of premium playtime, and more! So guys, go check it out. It is a very fun game to play, and you can get it using the link in the description. Huge thanks to World of Warships for sponsoring this episode. Now let's get down to work. Took us a minute, and we had to actually do some reading to find the factory jacking points, but once we got that all figured out, got the car up in the air safely. So now the next thing that we're going to do is, I've already kind of looked underneath. I'll show you guys through the underneath, and then we're going to work on just looking and spinning on the rotating assembly for these two wheels, and just kind of see what we're working with here, see if like we got bent rotors, etc., etc. I would love to take the wheel off. I think it'd be easier, but I don't have one of those. I don't have a wheel key for Lamborghini, and there isn't a Lamborghini dealership near me. It looks like it might just be a giant Torx bit, like a 6-sided Torx bit, which I will be testing later on when we take a run to the hardware store. But for now, let's go ahead and give it a once over, and I'll show you whatever I find. Great news, the front wheel, although it is scuffed and we're not using it anymore, it's not like severely wobbled or bent or anything like that. The whole rotating assembly, from what we can see right now, looks fine. And all the suspension pickup points, more importantly, all look totally fine too. Nothing's been dented in or damaged or bent or tweaked at all from the accident. Same goes for kind of the underneath midsection of the car. On the back here, we can't really spin it very fast because it's got all the drag of the transmission, but it looks okay. The wheel obviously needs replacing, but then we have the suspension pickup points again on this side looking good as well. So let me show you underneath. I'm going to attempt to bring you underneath. So starting at the front here, everything looks good, but we don't have our front rock guard, so we got to order one of those. Okay, it's cramped. I had to spin around because there wasn't really enough room, but so now we're looking, the front of the car is that way, and everything looks good under here. There's a little bit of curb rash right here. Other than that, everything looks totally fine. Same deal on the other side here. Everything looks great. Here's a pretty cool shot of the steering rack and some of the cooling lines. So this is an Audi steering rack. Audi owns Lamborghini, so you're going to see a lot of Audi VW parts on this car. So this is our steering rack right here. I believe it's electric steering rack. I think that's what this bad boy is right there. And then you have our cooling lines. These are our cooling lines right here, because keep in mind it's a mid-engine, so the engine's way back there. It has to use the coolant, obviously, so it's going to go up. And then you're seeing all these T's right here. That's where it's going back and forth to the series of radiators up front. There's 3 radiators up front. So it all looks really cool, but we got to get that all enclosed, button back up. And then moving back this way, it's all pretty boring except for a little bit of cool venting. They have the vents up, you know, into the engine. We've got some venting right here. This is our transmission right here before it goes back, and then you see 2 more vents that go up to cool the engine, and then it's just some like cardboard. This is like a cardboard fiberglass type of stuff. Good for sound deadening and keeping the rock chips and stuff off. Not good for much else. So it's all good signs. No signs of any major damage or anything on the undercarriage. All right, so that's all good news from stuff underneath. It'd be great if we could get these wheels off, so I'm gonna work really hard on figuring out a key system to get those off. My new wheels actually come with new lug bolts, so we won't have to deal with that in the future. So the next thing that we need to do is get these rollover protection bars out of the car. They need to be sent off for repair. They're a part of the airbag system. Basically, if you guys don't know from what happened, wreck was focused here, bang, hit a sensor, which launched this airbag, and when this airbag goes off, these go off because the car thinks, hey, you might be rolling over. So what happened was that when that happened, the convertible roof was down in its position now, those came up, and then it's basically trapped in there because the convertible parts can no longer actuate and open. So we need to remove these to test our roof, but we also need to remove them to get them repaired and replaced. All right, well, instead of taking the seats out, I decided to just move them forward because we don't have the right bit for the seat bolts yet to remove them, and I don't want to strip them out or anything. So we just moved them forward, got them out of the way, and it actually worked perfectly. Then we were able to, this actually just snaps on and off. It's this massive thing. It's all connected with snaps, which gets us to this next point, which is where I'm kind of stuck. There's a lot of different things going on here, and it's really hard to tell what the next piece to remove is to get here. But right here is a window housing and what looks like a window motor. So that's the next thing that I'm going to kind of go after. There's a bolt here and a bolt down here. We're going to do that on both sides. We're gonna have to cut a few zip ties and stuff because this is a lot of the cabling that goes to the roof, I'm guessing. So we're gonna go ahead and undo those bolts and see how we can kind of free this up. And I'm hoping if we free this up and get it out of the way, it'll give us exposure to these guys. All right, we're coming after it from all angles. So we removed the rear window. That indeed was part of it because Kyle actually pulled up a tutorial for Volkswagens that seemed to use something that looks a lot like this. And there was an access point right down here, which doesn't seem too promising, but it might be, that helped where you push in a pin and then that allows you to set this down, which will allow us to get this back off, which then gives me more room to go after this other stuff. So we went ahead and pulled that out. Now we're gonna play the fingering around game and try and figure it out and see if we can get these things to go back down so we can actually open the trunk and get all the access that we need. And if we can't, I'm gonna keep going after this plastic piece right here. Because what I figured is even if I did get that plastic piece off, like unbolted, we have no room to pull it out. And then even if we could pull it out, we're not gonna have room to unbolt these things. So just gonna keep working through it. All right, removal of the back window did not do it for us. Those holes don't give us access to anything, so I had to go after this back piece of plastic, which I got off. I wanted to just show you, it doesn't really buy us that much space. It's just this little bit of space right here. You can kind of see with the plastic backed off. This is the piece of plastic. As we back it off a little bit, you can just barely see the heads of the bolts, and they run from there, and then they run out to here. So I'm gonna very carefully sneak our opening. Oh, no way. Dang it. I thought I was gonna be able to get at them with an open-ended wrench. They're smooth. They're a Torx bit. Back to the drawing board. Well, I really didn't plan on spending so much time kind of diving into this whole space, but we just, it's problem after problem. So this actually was something you could get an open-ended wrench on there. There was a bunch of paint that had rounded it off, and that's why I had problems. Once I chipped the paint off, got on there, you could see that this one's missing a bolt. I got the bolt out, and there's just no room. There's no room to slide the bolt out. And then I did some more research about these things, these pop-ups themselves, and I found out that there's a bolt smack dab in the middle of this thing at the bottom that bolts into this bulkhead. So that started making me kind of change my perspective on this thing. I thought, wait, this entire unit, all these black bars running across here, going down into there, I think it all has to come out. So we ran down to the store and bought something that fits those guys. So that's called a triple square. I didn't even know that. I've never ran into one with the work that I've done so far. So I got a quick little, that's like a starter set. We'll obviously get some better stuff over the next few days, but I needed to get something for right now. So we are gonna go ahead now and start trying to find every single bolt that bolts this thing into the it's kind of like the rear bulkhead of the car. It's all carbon fiber back there. This is a carbon fiber tub. You can see it's all carbon fiber, and its carbon fiber runs through there. There's aluminum frame rails that run from the front here, aluminum, all the way back to the back where the frame connects up. The frame for the engine connects up over here, and then this is carbon fiber slapped over those aluminum frame rails on the outside through here, and then through down there. And that's carbon fiber, that's aluminum, so that's kind of the transition that it makes. But anyways, a little background on that. So yeah, this thing is bolted into carbon fiber stuff, and we need to try and get it unbolted, free up every single thing, the wiring, the speaker, this whole bar's got to go. We're gonna give it a shot and see if we can make it get it out. All right, we are back for day 2, guys. At the end of last night, well, first of all, one thing that's been done off camera, you can see Kyle went ahead and cleaned all the adhesive residue off the car, so it looks so much better, and that's all cleaned up. So where we ended last night, we got every bolt out of this guy that we could find, every single one that we had facing, except for one down here, which is a little bit questionable. It goes from here through some of the parts of the soft top and comes out there. If we had access to that, which we don't, there's not enough room for that thing to come out that way. I have no idea what that's about. I don't know if maybe when you get the roof up more, it kind of comes up. And so that combined with the fact that once we got all the bolts out of this thing, we started tugging on it, and it's not budging. It's not going, it's not moving at all. So we took a step back and thought, okay, well, if it's not moving at all, there's probably some bolts we're not finding. Then we saw some bolts that were hidden behind here. So they go in, they go down, they go forward, and they're bolted in like that. It's like, okay, well, so you're not supposed to be able to access this thing and take it out without probably the roof coming off. So we started thinking about more stuff, and we're gonna change up our angle of attack now. We're moving to the back here. See, this is like on normal builds, we could just jump onto YouTube and watch somebody do this. Not a lot of people have documented this, so we're kind of going through some of the pain points. So we got the rear trunk open. There's the oil system in the plenums for the air intake, and then the engine starts right about right there. So what we're gonna go ahead and do right now is we're gonna pop this trunk lid off, bonnet, boot, I don't know what the hell they're called anymore, because it's not really a trunk since it's not the trunk. Engine cover, lid is coming off, and then here starts the hinges for the hatch that covers the soft top. So we're gonna go ahead and pull this off, do a little bit of discovery around here, start disassembling that hinge with the hopes that if we get that hinge off, we can lift this side up a little bit more. That'll give us enough height over there to kind of topple it around and get it off of those pop-ups. A breakthrough. Sometimes you just gotta, sleep on an idea, come back in the morning and maybe try and approach it from a different way. That's what we did here. Engine cover came off in like 1 minute. We spent 6 hours last night getting to where we got last night, coming at it this way. 20 minutes later, we got through this and got this off. This was just pulling the pin out of the hinge for this thing, popping the struts out, which we could reach, unplugging it, and there it goes. So we got a little bit of a walnut tree debris looking like that. We'll vacuum that stuff out. We'll go ahead and turn the car on and see if it will operate any of this stuff to get out of our way, and then we're gonna approach this from the backside once again, even though we're about 90% sure that there is a bolt smack dab through the bottom of there. We're gonna try and at least start by getting those 4 off and see if it's not like insanely unserviceable as a starting point. Well, welcome to day 3. Day 2, we spent 3 or 4 more hours on this thing. Didn't really uncover anything new. We were just, trying to take off bolts that we could and pull on different things and do different things, and really just got nowhere. So I got on the forums. I asked people on the forums. I got nowhere. I tried to pull up documentation online. I got nowhere. I made an Instagram story, and that's got us somewhere. I've got in contact with some people at Lamborghini or that work for Lamborghini dealerships that should be able to pull up some manuals. I've also got some information from the R8 Spyder, which uses this same thing, but it uses different types of pop-ups, and their solution is they have a little like pull tab on the back of this thing. You pull it up, you smash your pop-up back down, and then you unbolt, you put this up, which we can't do right now because we're stuck. And then you put this up, and then you unbolt everything from the convertible top back here, and you lift the whole unit out as one, and then you can get access to that last bolt down there. So I think we figured it out. I need to get my hands on a Lamborghini service manual. It's gonna kind of show me how to either get these down or if we're supposed to like cut them. I don't think they're electronically actuated because this is the only cable that goes into these things, these guys. That right there, and that's an SRS type of connection you can see on the seatbelt. Here's another one and another one. Those are normally like one and done, blow up, it's donezo. So that's what I'm expecting to see from that. Not normally something that can like actuate a thing that would allow us to release it, set this thing down, and then put it back up. So that's where we're at. I'm gonna wait till we get the manuals. We're gonna put a pause on this whole thing. It's a high priority, but weirdly enough, it's the only thing we have to fix on this car is getting those things out, getting them serviced, putting them back in. After that, well, we need to fix the seat too. But then after that, we just need to do a lot of assembly and paint and stuff like that. So that's a priority, but I also got about 15K worth of parts sitting inside my house that I want to get to unboxing. So that's what we're gonna do in the next episode. So it's kind of frustrating, but it's still very fun because it's a Lamborghini and I'm still having a blast playing with it, and it's such a cool car. It's all right. It's been a very, very long time since we got stuck trying to dismantle something like this. And normally that's because we can just jump on YouTube and like watch a quick video on how to do it, but such a rare car, nobody's really done it and documented it yet. But we will be the first. We'll get it done. We'll probably have it included in the next episode. I hope we have it done by then. And that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you see on the dartboard right about there's 5 names. Those were the 5 finalists for the $1,000 giveaway. I threw darts blindfolded. Might have broke a window or something. But anyways, that was all on Instagram, and the winner has been chosen, and he already got his $1,000. I PayPal'd it to him, so I still have a brick of $1,000 if anybody's waiting to rob me. Just kidding, I'm gonna take that to the bank today like a responsible adult. I'm not gonna go spend it anywhere I shouldn't. Anyways, like I said, I have a ton of parts for this car. I have almost, I think, every single part for this car. You guys might have noticed when I was in Sacramento a while ago stressing out about spending a lot of money. Parts. So in the next episode, we're gonna bust a bunch of those out, see how they look on the car, all sorts of great stuff. I hope you join us then. See you later. Peace!